Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Cologne Podcast, episode 50. I'm Mike.
And I'm Ryan.
And today we're doing something a little special. We're going over some of the listeners' favorite fragrances right now.
Yeah.
Then Ryan and I will give our favorite fragrances currently.
Yes.
And we're going to give away a bottle of Dolce & Gabbana Sapporo.
Oh my God.
That's right. 2.5 ounces, 75 milliliters of Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme.
I can't wait to give that out, man. I can't wait to ship it.
That's right. And I'm sure our listeners can't wait to stop hearing us jabber on about it every time we post something. By the way, get your emails in. They're like, who cares?
Well, let's get into these emails, man.
All right. Well, let's start off with not an email,
Okay.
but a special phone call we had with our friend Mark over at myfragrancesamples.com.
Yes.
In which he told us his favorite fragrance for the summer is Vodka on the Rocks by Killian.
Yeah, and I think he said something to the effect that it didn't actually smell like vodka.
Yeah.
It was more of a, did he say like a citrus type of thing? Or
I think so. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I know he said it doesn't really smell boozy.
Yeah.
It just smells fresh. And I want to say that I've heard other people, when they review it, talk how it is, they say it smells like ice. If you can imagine smelling ice, just crisp, fresh.
I can't imagine that, and that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
It would be kind of cool.
Ryan's getting over a little bit of a head cold.
Yeah, if you're listening to me, it's because
He went on vacation, lived his best life. Now he came back and got a little stuffy.
Yeah, it was the drive, man. It got me when I came back, man.
It wears you down.
does.
You always get the flu. When we used to work 3 or 4 day conventions,
Yeah.
you just wear your ass out. Then when you come home, you just crash and burn for a day or two.
That's because it lowers your immune system.
Yeah.
And then all those little critters sneaking in underneath at night, your lymph nodes.
All the sun, all the pina coladas. Got you down, Ryan. What a poor soul.
If I would have had vodka on the rocks, maybe I'd be doing better. I don't know.
Probably. All right. Well, Ryan, why don't you get into our next listener's favorite fragrance?
Sure. Robert from Norway is my first one I'm going to read here. He writes, Dear Mike and Ryan, firstly, let me say that I love the podcast. After discovering you guys on Spotify, I've been marathoning through the episodes. I truly appreciate your honesty, wittiness, yeah, okay, don't give Mike that much credit, and love for Mr. Rajadev. And yes, I do. You do. We both do. We love us some Rajadev.
No doubt.
My favorite smell for the summer is Neo by Zhirjov. I look forward to the weather cooling down so that I may pull out some of the sweeter and heavier scents from my arsenal. Listening to your podcast has inspired me to start a little project with the wife at home, where we're working through my collection and rating them from her perspective. I've attached an overview of our progress so far, if you're interested in taking a look. I honestly love this man's dedication. He's like, check out this spreadsheet. This has got me thinking, maybe you guys could share your thoughts on having a framework for evaluating rating fragrances. That's probably should get a little bit more in depth.
The first thing I thought about whenever I saw his email was, why haven't we made a spreadsheet of previous episodes with our current rating of skip it, sample it, or buy it?
Yeah.
We need that.
We really do. Might help us for other future podcasts too.
Right.
I'm down with that. Let's try that. Okay, so Robert says, the wife likes Explore more than Aventus. Both are lady killers and the one scent I've gotten compliments on ever. I would highly recommend checking out Black Excess by Paco Rabanne. And in the meantime, I'm waiting for a bottle of Black Phantom. Very excited for my wife's reaction. Love the pod and look forward to the next episode. Spray it up, y'all. Thank you, Robert, in Norway. And we really do appreciate it. And we haven't done an episode on Neo yet, have we?
We haven't, but we've smelled it a few times.
Yeah.
And I know that we were in love with it. And then we went to the Scent Room, which is a boutique in Dallas. Ryan and I were out on a job.
This is my first time there. Mike took me.
Yes.
We were dating there.
That's right. It was a special moment in time. Ryan and I, hand in hand, walked into the scent room. Almost spit out his coffee right now. But we went into the scent room, and I was pumped to smell it from the bottle.
Yeah, me too.
Extra potent.
Mm-hmm.
And as we're spraying it, the guy that was helping us out says, here you go, smells just like jalapeno chips. And as soon as he said that, it's all I could smell the rest of the day. And I was like, damn it! because I loved it, and then I couldn't get past it from that point.
Mike gets weird about, like, if you say certain things, he gets them locked in his head. You got that way for Santel 33 for a minute.
I did. I finally kind of got out of that. It just takes me a little while.
He loves Santel 33.
I do.
And when he smelled it, he liked it, and then out of nowhere, he was like, smells like pickles.
Oh, yeah.
And you were like, I can't do it now.
Great. Now you probably ruin it for me again, Ryan. I forgot about that. But Neo is a great one. Actually, Mark had also said, too, that he kind of switches out Neo as well. And we were obsessed with Neo, but it's hard to get your hands on.
The funny thing is when I smell Neo, and I'm not trying to make this smell cheap because it's a great smell to me, but when I smelled Neo the first time, it's like when you open up a fresh box of Fruit Loops. Like you smell that a little bit of it's not as super sweet, has a little bit of the thing he's talking about, but it has a little bit of that little sweet Fruit Loop vibe to it.
To me, it is like strong citrus, strong sort of an interesting floral note in there. Mm-hmm. There's a lot going on. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I've been leaning a little bit more towards Renaissance than Neo as far as the Xerjoff line goes.
That one was good too. I got to smell that day there as well, right?
Right.
Yeah, I remember that one being pretty good.
It's similar to Wulong Cha, but the dry down is completely different on both of them.
We made one mistake that I got to just point out real quick.
Sure.
We both have admitted this now.
Yeah.
So if you live near a place that's like what we went to, it's just you walk in and it's literally floor to ceiling, asses to elbows, just straight up fragrance.
Any fragrance you can think of is there nearly.
It's a badass shop. And they're like, hey, look, this is your playroom. Go in here, grab whatever the hell you want. Don't touch the $700 candles, but grab whatever the hell you want. Spray it on a card, spray it on yourself, go out the door, spray it on some kid walking by. They don't care.
Right. They said pretty much as long as you don't try to juggle the bottles, like you're fine.
Yeah.
You can spray it on yourself, spray it on testers, spray it on your clothes, whatever you want.
So of course we're like, oh my God, look at all this access to $300 to $700 bottles.
Yeah, we were smelling everything.
And that was the biggest mistake. We've done this, we get it cited.
Yeah.
And we've done this at multiple times. When we've gotten big batches of stuff here or whenever we went to a store.
Right.
Don't smell multiple fragrances.
Well, if you want to leave with some semblance of what it actually is, because you end up erasing the previous 7 fragrances that you smell, and then you go back and you only really remember the ones you absolutely hated and not necessarily the ones that you loved.
Yeah.
So I'll say, and one reason why we always promote myfragrancesamples.com is because when we normally get a few decants from him, we're able to kind of sit down, spray it, enjoy it, and kind of take it in the moment. But because we're limited to access to all these niche fragrances, whenever we go into a boutique like that, it's a 100-mile drive one way for us to get there.
Yeah.
So whenever we get there, we're obviously like, that one and 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 that one, you know. It's hard just to drive all that way and go, I'm only smelling Neo today. No way, dude.
Yeah.
We're hitting all of them. Ones we've smelled before, we're like, I'm smelling it again, you know?
But it's a huge mistake.
Yeah, don't do that because it's not like a true representation of the fragrance.
But I want to say thank you to the scent room because the gentleman there was actually really nice.
Super cool. His name is Austin.
Yes.
He's probably going to join us on an episode soon.
Yeah.
You know, we're just spitballing here, but I think the episode would be cool. This was Ryan's idea. If we had him pick out, give us, maybe if it's one fragrance house or maybe we have him pick his top 5 or something like that, that they carry there and we sit down and sample them and he kind of talks to them. Dude is super knowledgeable about the fragrance houses. He's a certified fragrance expert pretty much.
Yeah.
So being able to sit down with him, we'd bring a little bit of education to an otherwise uneducated opinion on the world of fragrances.
For sure, because he was naming off everything, telling us backstories, histories. One brand is like, I guess it went out during the Depression and somebody brought it back to life just recently.
Yeah, but they kept like the Art Deco bottles and stuff.
Yes,
so cool.
It was. And the smell he gave you or the fragrance sample he gave you for one it's like a blueberry leather scent.
Oh, man.
And I do remember that because it was one of the last ones we smelled. And it was really, and I'm not even a blueberry fan, but it was really badass.
I love blueberry, and it was badass. All right. Next, I want to read Alan from the UK.
Okay.
He wrote us in an email.
All right.
He said, "Hey guys, long-time listener, first-time emailer. My favorite fragrance is Oud Wood by Tom Ford. As I am a pauper, I have only grabbed samples, but I've bought so many samples from fragrancesamplesuk.com." And then a winky face because he knows we're always talking about myfragrancesamples.com. And he said, "P.S. I'd love to hear an episode on the House of Issey Miyake if you have the time.
Oh,
Keep up the good work. Spray it up, y'all."
yeah.
Which Ryan has been beating that drum to death. So we're going to do an episode on that. In fact, we've already got a fragrance sample from myfragrancesamples.com. We've got it on the board for an episode.
That one is a banger, or has been for me in the past, in my past life when I had no wife, no kids,
No responsibilities.
no responsibilities. Nobody depended on me. Nobody needed me to make sure they lived or died.
Ryan, why are you crying right now? Those look like tears of joy.
No, I love my wife and kids.
Alan, thank you for the email. Oud Wood was an episode that we did. Absolutely enjoyed it. I believe we said a beautiful man like Matthew McConaughey could wear something like that.
Yeah, it's got some grit to it, but in a good way. Not too gritty.
It's not. Like, there's some sweetness to it. There's a little bit of that woodsy vibe. There's some spiciness to it.
Yeah.
Feels a little bit on the cooler weather sort of a vibe, but Matthew McConaughey could probably wear it all year round.
And probably make it smell better.
But Alan, we do have Issey up on the board. As soon as you sent that email in, I typed in myfragrancesamples.com, went ahead and grabbed us a sample, and we're going to be doing that here within a few. Thank you so much for that email.
Thank you so much.
We're going to jump into some more emails here in a second. I just wanted to stop and let you know that Ryan and I are going to give you our favorite fragrances here in a few. And then don't forget, by the end of the episode, we're going to draw a name for this free bottle of Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme. Be sure to stay with us.
Ooh. All right. Our next email is coming in from John. And John has actually been a big contributor to the show. So one, I think we both owe him a huge debt of gratitude. Thank you.
Absolutely.
To our listeners as well. Some of these episodes may not have ever happened if it wasn't for some of the coffees we've been bought by this gentleman. So
no doubt.
Thank you so much. He writes, "Hey, Mike and Ryan, just following your orders, LOL, and sending you my favorite fragrance. I would have to say that the one that I currently like wearing the most, and the one that I was so very excited to save up for and get my bottle after sampling, it is Terre d'Hermes." Did I say that right?
Sure.
EDT. Call it my dirty orange because I love the way that it is clean, earthy, fresh, and very sophisticated all at the same time. I will go for weeks at times without wearing it because I have other stuff to rotate in. But when I always come back to it, oh mama. I just love that citrus punch in the opening with that clean, dry vetiver. It makes me happy every time I smell it. Being in South Texas, hey man, we up in Texas. Woo! Being in South Texas, this is also a fragrance that takes the heat really well. When it gets hot, that citrus and dry vetiver just projects with this awesome, gentlemanly aura around me, and I know that I'm smelling great. I will have to say that it is one fragrance that I will always have in my collection. Hopefully it will never get discontinued. Keep springing it up, y'all. Thank you, Mr. John. And I've never smelled that.
Well, I will say that after John sent in this email, I went ahead and got us a sample to try out. John, you inspired an episode. We're going to be doing an episode on that one as well.
I'm looking forward to that because I don't know why. For when he's explaining that, kind of reminds me a little bit of Mancera, the way he's kind of just explaining that. The
dirty citrus.
Yeah.
Yeah. I vibe it.
I'm excited for that one. That'll be good.
As many times as I've heard you compare yourself to a dirty orange.
Yeah.
Especially when you're wearing orange, you're like, I'm round, I'm dirty, I'm wearing orange. Well, you're right, Ryan. I can see it.
Good God. Well, again, thank you, John, for writing that in and also being a huge supporter. And we just seriously appreciate it. That was a great email. I like that one.
Yeah. John's a big friend of the podcast, and pretty much everybody who wrote in and those who didn't, just know we'll be doing other episodes like this in the future. Please feel free to be a part of, we're trying to build a little community aspect to this. We want to showcase you guys as much as we do our own opinions and collections and things like that. We want want you guys to know you're important in this too, and that we want to hear from you.
For sure.
All right, next on the list is Lawrence from Germany.
Ooh.
That's right. We did a previous fragrance philosophy episode, kind of highlighting some of the things that Lawrence was talking about. He's a younger guy, and he says, "Dear Mike and Ryan, I think my favorite fragrance is the Givenchy Gentleman Only because my grandma gave it to me, and I think it always reminds me of her. Love the podcast. Stay the way you are."
I don't know if have I smelled that one?
I haven't smelled the Gentleman Only. We need to check that out.
I remember you talking about Gentleman. What's it smell similar to? You said it's kind of like in the same vein of something.
Well, the Gentleman EDP has a lot of that iris note that
Dior Homme Intense?
Yes, had. Yeah, kind of lipsticky in a way. It's almost like if you mix, in my opinion, it reminds me, Gentleman by Givenchy, the EDP version reminds me of a mixture between Dior Homme Intense and Tom Ford's Black Orchid a little bit.
Interesting. I like both of those.
Yeah, so we'll have to check out Gentleman Only.
Okay.
So I'm guessing that's a flinker. But Lawrence, if you've listened to other episodes, you know how near and dear my grandmother is to my heart. And if she had bought me a fragrance, I'd probably always have it in my collection. I recommend you do the same. Hold on to these sweet memories like that. Hold on to these scents and the tangible things that you can put around your life that remind you of your loved ones. So important. I'm so glad we got that email from you. Keep spraying it up, young man. You're going to grow into something awesome.
Well said.
All right. And Ryan, I think you should top this off because you were able to dig through the archives to find our friend Robert from California's email.
Yeah, so Mike wrote Robert prior to this recording, even today. He's like, "Hey, man, I haven't seen your email. Usually I would think well, I'll let you say it."
Well, yeah, I just messaged him, and he's been a huge support to us as well. Huge friend of the podcast. He's been interactive through the emails and through the Buy Me a Coffee link and all that good stuff. So I couldn't remember his come through, and shame on me. But so I wanted to write him and go, "Hey, man, don't want you to miss out on this. You've been a huge part of this, and we want to give you a little bit of love on this episode as well. Make sure you're a part." And he was like, "Dude, I've already sent that in." And I was like, probably Ryan's fault.
And it was.
Well, you found it. You dug it out. Why don't you read it?
So Robert wrote 5 days ago, by the way. "My favorite cologne has changed over the years from Versace Manna Fresh. From 16 to 20 years old to Dolce & Gabbana The One. It had a lot of scent associations with something my grandmother used to wear." Oh, another one. "I think La Nuit de l'Homme EDT is becoming my new favorite though. I'll send y'all my little collection next time I'm home. Hope all is well."
And I do remember seeing that email because I remember emailing him back and talking about scents that remind me of my grandmother. And the whole reason why I obsessed over Oolong Cha and that fresh rose note, even though it's a tea note, it reminded me of fresh roses because we had roses growing out in the front yard. Yeah. When it would rain, you could walk by and smell them. They just had that beautiful scent. Remind me of my grandmother's house.
Yeah.
I understand and appreciate the connection.
Yeah, I agree. Those are some good things.
Wow. Brilliant commentary.
Oh, Lord.
Sweet Lord.
Thank you, Robert, again for continually donating to the podcast and also emailing and just giving us good feedback. You and the rest of the crew that's been writing us, man. Thank y'all. Everybody, thank y'all.
Yeah. We appreciate you guys being involved. We appreciate your wittiness and sense of humor and your enjoyment of fragrances. And that's kind of what we want this to be. We want this to be a huge group of friends that we all can kind of relate. I know that you and I are both in other fragrance groups online, and at times it feels kind of weird in a way.
It does.
There's a weird vibe to it. We want you guys to know if you write in, we're here, we're listening, we're excited with you. You guys get a new fragrance, shout it out, give us an email, let us know what you're stoked on and what you're wearing. We love that. We want to be a part of that with you because you guys are a huge part of our journey through this as well.
Yeah, I think what's so interesting about it to me and you personally is I think we can step outside of a box and see that everybody's nose and DNA and genetics and how they perceive or like or dislike things. It's kind of interesting to us, For instance, when we did go to the scent room, the gentleman Austin there that was helping us out, he was showing us some really wild scents.
Yeah.
And one he showed us, did he say it was called like Warlock or Warrior or War? It was something like.
Yeah. Started with a W for show.
It's supposed to smell like pretty much a goblin or something. but
I don't think that was like the notes, goblin's blood or anything.
Dude, it was wild. But he was like, hey, there's a lady that comes in and buys this. And first off, I would think a man would wear it. But then I would think it would be like somebody that looks like Dumbledore or something wearing this or something, dude. Is Dumbledore the bearded big guy or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, just somebody just looked like a homeless person wearing it. But, dude, he said this woman comes in and wears it. And to me, that's so interesting because she wants that to be her scent.
Yeah, her signature scent is what he said. And I was like, good Lord.
What does this lady look like?
Yeah, I don't want to smell this ever again.
But you never know. It may be on her skin and smell like freaking flowers or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Here's something interesting, Ryan. We're going to get into our favorite fragrances right now. The one I've selected.
Okay.
We've yet to do a show on.
Ooh.
Yeah. We're going to be handling something brand new. So if you're listening and you've stayed this long, you're about to get some brand new stuff.
Let's do it.
Well, you first.
Oh, okay. Put me on a spot like that.
There you go.
Hey, I'm about to do something really cool.
Yeah.
You're really going to love it. You first.
Yeah. Dump it out, Ryan.
So I'm just going to say an honorable mention first. So I was going to say Mancera, Cedrate, Boy, whatever they want to call it. Boise. I was going to say this.
You changed your mind since 15 minutes ago, huh?
Yeah. It smells amazing. And I'm going to say why it's an honorable mention, but I have been, out of everything, I have been wearing it the most. You know it because we worked together the other day. And
yeah.
You're like, man, you smell like, is that my boy Cedrate you're wearing? I'm
That's
like, yeah.
right.
It is such a dirty, citrus, leathery smell.
Yeah.
And my wife even said the other night this. She was like, I can't explain what you smell right now. You smell kind of dirty. And I'm like, well, I haven't taken a bath.
I've been working all day sweating.
I've been standing and accumulating sweat. How's that smell to you? But no, it's for the price because you had bought this first from myfragrancesamples.com. They have a retail bottle part of their page and it's $95 there.
Cheapest I've seen it.
Yeah. And then, of course, if you listen to previous podcasts, you know the whole story. But I ended up getting a bottle as well. I bought it. And then after I bought it, I wanted to smell it again before it got here and Mike brought it over. It's a badass scent, dude. I mean, it really is. It's like a niche fragrance that's less than $100 and it's just 120 ml. It's huge.
To me, it's like a lemon that got busted trying to smoke a cigarette. It only got a few puffs in and had to throw it away real quick. Oh man, mommy, daddy lemon's coming. It's not straight up like a Ventus where it's been a pineapple on smoke break for 15 minutes, just chugging through half a box of Camels.
Yeah, dude, the more we think about it, it's not an Aventus anything. It's
it really
different.
isn't. I can understand the comparison because there's citrus up front and then there's a slight smokiness, but you could almost go leatheriness with Mancera's Cedrate Boisé.
Yeah, but let me tell you what is my number one.
Okay. I was wondering why you brought a big old bag.
Well, is this the one? Nope, that's not it. That's the wrong one. This one.
Oh.
And if it sounds like I'm shilling, I'm not. But I would love to. It is definitely, and let me just let them hear this little. Yeah. Ooh. That's when it comes out. You slide out the box. And then you got the. Oh, nice little.
Yeah, I got a little bloop.
And then a little bit of this. But it is none other than Raja Parfums Elysium.
Elysium.
And I'm going to say why this one is amazing. First off, it is still so goddamn ridiculous.
Yes.
And do not edit that out, Todd. Put it all in there and make it hella punchy. It is so ridiculous that literally I open this box, I slide it out every day. I'm surprised it's not banged out and loose right now.
Right.
I slide this box out, I pull this up. I don't spray it every day, but I pull it out and I go, Let's take a big old whiff in because it is legitimately the most insane fragrance I've ever smelled.
Let me get on this thing. Oh, yeah.
Dude, it's ridiculous.
So the funny thing is, I read somewhere somebody mentioned grapefruit at one point.
Yeah.
And me and you are terrible about looking up the notes. We don't really care, right? We're not the guys that are like, oh, it's got 38 different notes. Let me see if I can memorize this list, you know? But somebody had mentioned grapefruit. I think that is one of the notes.
Yeah.
And after I heard that, I could start smelling it. But before, we had always said it's like cucumber water.
Yeah.
Reminds me of. And it's still there, but I can smell that hint of grapefruit.
Yeah.
Which made sense when you were like the light blue forever. Once it dries down, has a similar vibe to the opening of a Ventus, which because as like the bright grapefruit kind of walks away, you get a little bit of that dark grapefruit vibe. I can smell that in this.
Yeah. And dude,
I love it.
The thing about it is like it's like tart. Does that kind of make sense?
Yes.
It's very tart, and then it has like a subtle musk undertone.
Yeah.
It is legitimately the sexiest thing I have ever smelled. To me, nothing comes close.
Right now, it is my most complimented fragrance I've ever worn.
It's fucking ridiculous. But the other reason why I say this is my favorite is because it was given to me by you as a gift.
Your best friend.
My best friend. And it means a lot because you understand that I can't just go out and buy crazy stuff like this. But it builds upon what we've been doing here as far as like smelling new things, and we've bonded even more together doing this. So it has a lot of real value to me other than just the scent.
For sure.
So it is legitimately my favorite scent ever. I don't know if this will ever get topped in my personal opinion. It's a heroic smell, as even Raja Dove says. It really is.
It is.
And if anybody out there hasn't smelled this, I promise you, I don't care what you have to do to get a sample of this or where you get it from. Get you a sample and smell it, because it's going to change your mind about a lot of things in life.
It's crazy. Like I said, every time I wear it, somebody notices. And I know we've had a few requests. So here's what we're doing next, Ryan. We're going to do an episode of real life, our best stories of getting compliments off of fragrances.
Shout out to Tobias.
Thank you. We've had a couple of requests for this through emails as well. So I'll say this. If you're listening, start writing us in your awesome fragrance complimentary stories.
Yes.
We want to include you on that episode as well. Give us the real juicy ones. Tell us, hey, change the name on this because I was chased by 4 women down a back alley. Can't let my wife know about it. We'll mix and change the names up.
We'll dragnet it.
That's right. Well, we want to know your favorite compliments you've gotten off of fragrances, and we'll do an episode on ours as well. So far. Yeah. Okay. Now time to do mine, Ryan.
I'm ready.
One that I am obsessing over.
What's that? I think it's just in a shock. Wait. Can I try to guess it?
Guess it.
Wait, is it in your pocket?
Yeah.
Is it small to fit in your pocket, or is it a real bottle size?
It's a sample.
Okay. Oh, it's a sample.
Yeah.
One you've been obsessing over.
Yes. Take a guess.
I'm not sure. Hit me up.
I can smell that Elysium. It smells incredible.
It does, doesn't it?
My friend, this is Ani by Nishane.
You have been mega Hernsies on this one.
That is right. I'm one horny man for Ani. Since we haven't done an episode on this, I just want to take a little bit of time. We've got some testers out. We're going to spray it on the skin. I want Ryan to get the full experience on it.
All right.
And I love spraying myself down with it.
All right, here we go. This is Ani or
I'm just going to go with Ani.
Interesting.
It is sweet, citrusy. It's got some vanilla.
Yeah.
I only say vanilla because everybody talks about it. The only thing I got whenever I sprayed it on ever has always been that citronella candle smell to me. And I love that citronella smell.
It's a Texas thing, man.
Yeah, we got to, man. We got the Zika virus out here.
It's like heavenly dust.
Yeah, it's a smell of comfort and safety.
You know what? Okay, it's not the same smell. It's not the menthol-y kind of smell.
Right.
But you know how in menthol and like Layton, where it has that air around it?
Yeah.
It has that air around it, but minus the mentholness. Does that make sense?
I totally get what you're saying. It's got like a vibe in the air, but it's not medicinal smelling.
Exactly. Man, this is really, that's pretty sharp, man.
Dude, it is good. And it hangs on to clothes for forever. It's a loud one. I wore it the other day and somebody goes, I don't know what you're wearing, but it is loud as hell.
Dude, I'm getting more of the citronella now and it is badass.
Yeah,
dude.
Dude, I love it. Everybody goes, yeah, smell that sweet vanilla in there. Maybe my nose isn't trained yet, but I don't really smell vanilla. Maybe a little bit, but I got to search for it. Somebody's got to go, let me tell you what to think. Vanilla. I'm like, oh, okay, I can smell it. It's almost like somebody is eating vanilla ice cream next to a citronella candle, I guess.
Dude, that's a perfect description.
Yeah, it's
like a cream. It's like a creamsicle of citronella plant or something.
That's right. Yeah.
That is so unique. That is way different.
I love it. And let me tell you right now, Mark, he started doing this partial bottle thing on the website.
I noticed that.
And we're stoked on that. So you can get a partial bottle of this for, I think, less than $100 on his website, and I'm pining over it right now. I'm so tempted to pull the trigger.
And when we're saying like a partial bottle, he's legit sewn it in the bottle.
That's right. You get the bottle. I'm sure you get the cap.
Yeah.
But for less than $100, you get that partial bottle.
Yeah.
I think you get 30 mil of the juice. If you're somebody who is excited to add bottles to the shelf, but you don't want to jump out and spend $230 for a brand new bottle of this thing, you can get 30 mil that you can wear for a while, and you get the nice bottle to go with it.
Yeah, that's badass. And dude, I'm telling you, that is citronella and like vanilla ice cream.
Dude, it is so good. This is, to me, a summer date night fragrance.
Dude, it is. And it has that air around it that menthol kind of has, minus that, like you said, the medicinal part of it. It smells freaking clean, man. I like that.
It projects out. It turns some heads. It's nice.
Nichonnet has seriously got some good ass fragrances. I still want a bottle of Hashavat one day. It smells incredible.
Yeah, I want a bottle of everything they make.
And so Mike was wearing the Wulong Cha yesterday, and I was wearing Cedric, but he was wearing Wulong Cha, and I'm going to tell you all that real quick, talking about that brand.
Yeah.
It was 92, but felt like a fucking 110 out here.
Yes.
And we're lugging around pretty much 70 pounds worth of gear. We're sweating our balls off.
It is brutal.
Yeah. And this dude was like a nuclear power plant of fragrance. When that went out into the sun, I was legitimately probably I'd say about 5 yards away from you at some point.
Yeah.
And it was legitimately projecting that far, like strong. Smell it. It was amazing.
Yeah. And you've seen me wear Wulong Cha a million times.
Yes.
I bought 2 15 mil samples from myfragrancesamples.com. I'm just now getting into my second 15 mil sample.
Yeah.
You don't have to spray a lot of this. With Nichonnet, their fragrances, man, they have some punch to them.
They do, because Mark actually threw in, I had ordered some samples for the podcast, and he had he throws in a free one every now and then, and he threw in Fan Your Flames by them.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And for me, of course, I thought my wife would love it, and she was like, that's okay, because she loves bonfires. To me, it smells like a bonfire that maybe you're cooking marshmallows over something, but it smells like a bonfire.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this is such a badass smell. And it's loud.
Yeah.
And everything that we've tried from them is, one, it's unique.
Yes.
But two, they're usually pretty loud in a good way. You get your money's worth on them.
So what they call them, and we're not super hoity-floity or whatever you call it with the terminologies, but they call it an extrait de parfum, which I guess means it's one of the higher, if not the highest concentration of oils in the fragrance that make it what it is. It's just like whenever I wore Hashavat out. We had the little sample that we got from myfragrancesamples.com, and we both kind of sprayed it a little bit, and I went to the grocery store, and I'm in line, and the lady behind me is like, You smell great. And it's not like I did 30 squirts. I mean, it was out of a sample. It was a small little decant,
Yeah.
But because the concentration of, I guess, the oils in the fragrances that Nichonnet makes, they're strong and they project. They got some life to them. So it's the same way with this Ani. And why I love it so much is it's a sweet fragrance that really gets out there, but the citrus balances it enough to where I'm not afraid to wear it out in the heat.
Yeah. No, it smells amazing, man. I'm in love with this.
Okay. Well, the time has come, Ryan.
Where we must go. Oh, I was getting ahead of it.
We've got our bag of email addresses in here.
Okay.
And we're going to draw our winner of Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme.
I'm ready to get rid of it. It's been staring at us.
That's right. Ryan's covering shipping, so he's praying it's somebody close. And the winner is Alan.
There was a lot of buildup. I'm like, what? I'm going to read it.
Alan, whose favorite fragrance as of right now is Oud Wood.
Congratulations.
Alan, thank you for being a listener and being a part of this journey with us. Your email meant a lot to us. And as we continue to appreciate you guys on these episodes, just know we want to hear from you. We thank you so much for being a part of making this thing what it is.
Yeah, for real. Thank you and everybody else. This means a lot. And we can't wait to ship this out. Can't wait to put a little message. This guy's receiving the very first Cologne podcast giveaway. We plan to, hopefully there's so many more in the future.
That's right.
In fact, we got some plans for something a little unique that we'll maybe get into later on.
Yeah, a little Easter egg. Maybe we can just go ahead and tell them. Little Easter egg for those who've made it this far.
Yeah.
We've been able to partner up with our friend Mark over at myfragrancesamples.com.
Yeah.
Once a week, we're going to start giving out a $20 gift card to myfragrancesamples.com.
That's right.
It'll come straight to your email, and then you'll be able to plug it in and put that towards getting a sample or whatever. It's just like having $20 in your pocket, but we don't have to mail out physical cards.
Yeah.
And this way, if you hear a fragrance that we're talking about and you're interested in, it's on the house, baby.
Yeah. And have we worked out how we're going to be giving that, like how we come about, how we give it away?
In order to get it, we have to have your email address. So you have to be emailing in.
Yeah.
If you've already emailed us, and what we may need to do is we will make a separate, basically come plug your email in. You're only going to get notified of the winner of this. Right now, we're not sending out newsletters or anything like that. If we do in the future, we'll probably only do one a month.
Yeah.
So what we'll probably do is an email capture form where you can go put that in to be a part of this. And just know we're not going to be spamming you. You're not going to get something every 2 days that says, hey, don't forget we're on Spotify. Hey, don't forget we're on Apple iTunes.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that. We're only going to do, hey, thanks for subscribing. And then here's the winner of this week's $20 gift card to myfragrancesamples.com.
Okay. I think that would work out pretty good.
Okay. Well, that's how we're going to do it. So give us a couple of days to get that set up for you guys. And because of those who've given to buymeacoffee.com/Cologne podcast, we've been able to now create a landing page for the podcast.
So we will be working on that. And
yes.
Well, I guess that'll kind of go 2 and 2, right? The landing page will have an email capture for them to be able to be entered into the giveaway each week, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Yep. So as long as you plug your email into that, and we'll be announcing that on the next episode, how you can get to it. Once you plug that in, you're good to go. And every week we'll draw a name. And on Fridays, we'll let you know who's getting $20 in their email address.
Seriously, to everybody that has bought us a coffee, donated to the show in some way, shape, or form, I really hope that you know that we appreciate it. But on top of that, I want everybody to kind of feel proud because this isn't something that me or Mike alone have built up.
Yeah.
It's everything that the community has put together with us through emails, through donations, whatever, linking us out there. You're helping build this too, and you're every part of responsible for what we're able to create here. And we are just greatly appreciative.
Yeah, there's no podcast without listeners.
Exactly.
So the fact that you guys are hanging out with us and enjoying this and continue to participate in this type of stuff means the world to us. Just know, moving forward, as we try to grow this thing, we're trying to build a community and environment that celebrates you as the listener on the things that you enjoy and the things you're interested in. That's why we're also excited to kind of partner with Mark on this, because we want to make sure that you guys are able to risk-free try out a fragrance before you buy a bottle of it.
Yeah.
No more blind buying. I'm not sure where everybody's at and their availability to go out and smell these fragrances, but just like we said, we're 100 miles away from the nearest boutique to smell anything but a designer fragrance that's on the shelf.
Yeah.
And so being able to have access through myfragrancesamples.com to smell the different fragrances, even some that, maybe have been off the shelf for a while. Remember, we couldn't get our hands on Dior Homme Intense because they had pulled it off the shelves for a while, and we were able to get it through that. In the same way, we want you guys to be able to go out, try these fragrances without the risk of buying a bottle and regretting it. And that's how we run this podcast. We love you, and we're so grateful to have you guys as a part of it.
Thank you guys for listening to episode 50. Big milestone. Thank you. We appreciate you guys.
Spray it up, y'all.